Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Crypto News Podcast. We are buzzing as always. Another lovely day in the city of Toronto. It's summertime. Everyone's happy. Everyone's buzzing. We love to see it. Super pumped to have today's guest on the show, the one and only Vince Yang. He is back for round two on the show, a Bitcoin holder and former engineer. Vince's journey into crypto started with Bitcoin mining way back in the day and gradually evolved into a deeper exploration of blockchain's potential and, of course, ZK proofs, which we are going to get right into. Vince is now the CEO of zkLink, a team dedicated to pioneering a decentralized trading reality of secure, unified liquidity with zkSnarks and blockchain's Layer 3 scaling solutions. If you guys are interested in ZK tech, Rollup Narratives, and of course, Layer 3s, this is the one for you. Vince, welcome back to the show, my friend. Pumped to have you on for round two. How you doing?
Thanks, Matt, for this warm intro. It's a little bit, long and a lot of buzzwords there, but yeah, I hope people are not lost yet. And it's my great pleasure to be back on this show again, and very nice to have this opportunity to discuss what we have been doing since last time we spoke. And hi, everyone. This is Vince, the co-founder and CEO at zkLink. As Matt just mentioned, that we're building Layer 3 and ZK Rollup and, stuff like that scales blockchain and also try to solve the real problems that the users and the blockchain space is facing every day. Liquidity fragmentation, user experience, and also the in general interoperability in the blockchain space when you have like thousands of new chains and rollups emerging very quickly since a couple of years ago. And today we're facing this reality that we have so many chains and rollups, and users will have to understand that and learn how to use the different chains. Is a little bit painful and also very difficult. So we're trying to solve the problem of like abstracting and also uniting the different chains and aggregating the liquidity from different chains together.
I love that. And I appreciate the kind words here, my friend. You brought up a good point here, sort of, gathering everything together, even just reading your bio. Imagine if a normie, a Web 2 person, listened or read to that bio. We have words like ZK proofs, we have decentralized trading, we have unified liquidity, zkSnarks, Layer 3 scaling solutions. This is one of the things that irks me the most, Vince, about present day blockchain, Web3, crypto, whatever you want to call it. Even just being at Consensus a couple of years ago, the amount of beautiful booths that we saw, that everyone saw, with a tagline like aggregated rollups, monolithic versus modular blockchains, ZK tech. Like, if we want to bring the folks on board, we got to figure out some new names, man. Like, this shit is just, it's out of control. You know what I mean? Like, how the hell is a Web 2 person going to want to be like, I want to jump into this? An analogy is, I have some close friends in science, and when they talk about chemistry stuff or physics stuff or biology stuff, and they're using these crazy words, it's like, you might as well be speaking like Mandarin or Cantonese or some language that I will never be able, or Arabic, whatever. I'm fluent in French and English, learning Spanish, any Latin language I can understand a bit of, but any other language, I'm a lost puppy. I have no clue. That's what they must feel like. We got to fix this shit. You know what I mean?
I totally agree. Yes, these buzzwords, they are ever increasing, right? So it's definitely a big gap between these crypto terms and the technology terms, especially, and this Web 2 ordinary users and the people that have not yet touched the space. I try to use some knowledge to explain what does this mean, right? So ZK meaning this is verifiable computations, meaning that's trust based on mathematics, like commitments. Make a statement, but then you also submit a math proof, a math that can be verified by on-chain smart contracts. So that will solve the problem of trust issues. So to make sure that the statements you're making is true. Then you to ensure that you submit the statement together with a proof that can be verified and mathematically verified. So basically, it's a trust based on math. And for Layer 3s, Layer 3s is kind of like layer on top of Layer 2. Layer 2 is on top of Layer 1. Layer 1 is the monolithic chains that we already know. Like the major ones are Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin is like storage and for value, because there's not much utility, no smart contract, no the complicated like logic or executions that can be run. It's not Turing complete. And at the same time, Ethereum, which is the largest smart contract platform, the Layer 1 chain, the mainnet, is believed to be also this used as the base chain for most of the layer 2s. The Ethereum layer 2 is based on Ethereum layer 1 to inherit the security and economic trust, economic security that comes with the POS system with the mainnet consensus. And the layer 2s taking the layer 1 security. At the same time, it processes data. It takes the computation off the layer 1 chain and process the data on the layer 2, which is a lot cheaper, faster, scalable, and user-friendly. And then when it comes to layer 3s, it solves some problems that layer 2s cannot solve. Layer 2s is still also facing the problem. Some of these problems, of course, it solves the problem of like being too expensive to, and the bandwidth is too much limited, so you cannot support a lot of applications, a lot of transactions, a lot of users at the same time. So it must simultaneously, so you need layer 2s. And then the layer 2s also, they bring new problems. For example, a layer 2 is also limited by its own bandwidth. Layer 2 is not indefinitely scalable. So for some use cases, you still do not want to compete with these other applications. Let me give you an example. For example, the most successful layer 2s of today are Arbitrum, Optimism, Base, zkSync, Starknet, those chains. You also see hundreds of applications on those chains, right? And then they all share the same bandwidth. Although it's more scalable, like 100 times cheaper, 100 times faster than the layer 1 Ethereum to solve. And at some points, then these applications become successful. You have a lot of users on these chains. Then these hundreds of applications on these layer 2s will compete for the total sum of the bandwidth provided by the layer 2. So for some high performance applications, they do not want to have that competition, do not want to enter the gas war at some point. For example, an NFT or a gaming project that can have, let's say, millions, hundreds of thousands of users that want to play a game. When you want to have a very smooth user experience, gaming experience, you don't want to really compete with other applications for the limited bandwidth, then it comes to the need of layer 3. So it's more sovereign to run a layer 3 on top of one of the layer 2s to have the full bandwidth, full sovereignty over all the resources for one application. It means that this application running in layer 3 is all the resources dedicated to this application. So it is not all this bandwidth and all the resources is not shared by any other applications. It is one purpose for layer 3, to have full sovereignty over the resources for one specific purpose for one application. Because layer 2 chain could be general purpose, right? So they serves like purpose for alien purpose for universal dApps. Then there's compromise that you have to make. But for layer 3s, you can customize that. You can decouple some of these components to furtherly optimize for certain use cases. I just gave an example of gaming. It has to be extremely fast and cheap. It does not require as high in the sense of security as decentralized financial applications, right? It does not deal with hundreds of millions of dollars in one gaming application by theory. So for some certain high performance trading applications, for example, a layer 3 can be very interesting because it can give all these high speed transactions more customizability to, for example, for order book exchanges, running on layer 2 is an option. But on layer 3, sometimes there's additional benefits in terms of the cost per transaction. Layer 3s, as it settles on layer 2s, it can go even cheaper than layer 2s, which is totally understandable because you settle on layer 2. So the gas consumption on layer 2s is less expensive than the amount of transaction same amount of transaction you settle on layer 1. Because layer 1 is more expensive than layer 2s. So layer 3s can be even cheaper than layer 2s. So for these kinds of financial applications, it makes sense to run their own layer 3. We are seeing some applications doing that. And even for some meme applications, I'm not sure if you have heard of the layer 3 chain on top of base layer 2. It's called Degen. This is meme chain. Basically, the purpose of this chain is just to allow the Degen traders, meme fans, to trade meme coins on this chain, specifically because it's less expensive and more customizable for the purpose of meme token trading, because meme tokens it's a lot of times for fun, and it's a pretty low value in terms of single transaction. So it makes sense if it is a lot more cheaper. And on layer 3s, you can also enable some other purposes like privacy. I'm not aware of anyone building this, but I think this could potentially be very interesting. You can build a layer 3 chain on top of layer 2 and enable a privacy preserving transaction feature on this layer 3, which you do not conflict with like layer 2 applications and do not conflict with regulatory requirements, since you could potentially customize for your own purpose. So you do not touch on some like sensitive regulatory topics when you have
Yeah.
that you when you
100%.
want to have privacy in the transactions. You definitely have to carefully balance the privacy that you're keeping and also still keeping the ability to be able to explain to the regulators, you will not be falsely utilized with these kind of money laundering or, terrorist activities. So there's certain customizable components that you want to have. So have your own independent layer 3 chain with customizable environment and components is very important for that purpose. And zkLink is another very specific use case for layer 3s. We're building aggregated layer 3, a layer 3 on top of mailing layer 2s to unite the layer 2s together to combine the liquidities that is fragmented across the different layer 2s. Let's say we're building a unified consolidated environment to be interoperable among these layer 2s to combine the liquidities across different layer 2s. This is a very specific use case of a layer 3. I'm not saying that a zkLink Nova chain is the best use cases for layer 3, but it's definitely one of the unique use cases of layer 3. And also there's layer 3s for financial applications like order books, gamings for fully on-chain game when you want to have more bandwidth for your own application, and for privacy preserved transactions for some certain use cases that needs privacy, and also for in our case aggregation of liquidities.
Wow, what a rip. That was world class, Vince. I just want to make sure for myself and the listeners that we're all fully on the same page here. L1s, L2s, L3s. You guys are moving and grooving in the L3 space. L1s, I'll try to give an analogy here, and I'm probably going to butcher this. So as soon as I'm done, I'll throw the ball over to your court to give me a better analogy. But we can look at L1s like ETH. We'll just use the ETH ecosystem for this matter as something like the internet. It powers absolutely everything. And L2 would be something like perhaps a developer language, C++ or JavaScript or something like that. And then a layer 3 would maybe be something like Riverside, which we use to record the podcast. Layer 3s have a specific application. It's really only has one purpose, whereas L1s and L2s power a myriad of different apps, different dApps rather. And for that reason, perhaps it's not the most efficient thing because it's doing a whole bunch of things at once, whereas L3s just focus on one thing and do that one thing better and more efficient, quicker, cleaner than an L2 or an L1 would. Is that sort of
I like that
right
analogy.
there?
Yeah, I think it is a very good analogy. Yes, in terms of like explaining the difference of or pursuits, the different purposes of the different layers. Layer 1s, layer 2 is definitely more powerful in terms of like the consensus and the security, and also the compatibility for many different applications to be, and also very importantly, they have the composability within the chain itself, the composability of DeFi applications, composability of transactions on the smart contract level, on the code level, and the layer 3 is more specific for certain applications and use cases, and it's more effective, efficient, and goes deeper in certain verticals. It serves better in those purposes and use cases, but it's at the same time, it comes with at a cost. Of course, there's cost for everything. For layer 3, the cost is you sacrifice the comfortability. The layer 3 itself is very hard to compose with other applications and liquidities. So mostly, like you can think of layer 3 as the application layer. So one layer 3 serves one use case that is the typical sense of layer 3s.
100%. You did a great job explaining why we need L3s, why we need layer 3s. I think everyone is on the same page for that. Let's talk about the current state of L3s. I mean, heck, even a year ago, I feel like I could be wrong here, but there really weren't a whole lot of L3s popping up. Feels like we got L3s popping up every single day now. What's the current state of L3s in the market? And I'd love if you could give some long-term predictions. I'm in the camp that I think we need some really powerful consumer apps, not B2B, but I think we need some powerful consumer apps to power and really increase mass adoption to bring in the Web 2 folks, the normies, into Web 3. So my question is, what is the current state of L3s? And if you could also touch on like, what will the future of L3s look like? Will the big consumer apps that onboard the masses, will those be in L3? Will it be in L2? Probably definitely won't be in L1, but I'd love if you could just give a nice big spiel on those 2 points.
Very, very good question. Overall, I think we're still very early, super early in the life cycle or the curve of development for layer 3s. We're still even early in for layer 2s, right? Layer 3s cannot emerge, cannot be successful, cannot develop itself without the success of layer 2s. A year ago, there were not so many layer 3s that we have heard of. The reason is just simply because a year ago, people are busy building layer 2s. Layer 2s were emerged mostly last year. It began the year before, a little bit ahead of that. There were like the pioneers building the first 1 to 2 layer 2s. And since last year, there's a lot more layer 2 builders entered the space and built it out. And this year, a lot of these layer 2s launched their mainnet and it becomes more mature and production ready. And then we have the layer 3s on top of the layer 2s. Most of the emerging layer 3s are on OP rollups, optimistic rollups. The reason is simply because those optimistic rollups are more mature, more developer ready, more production ready than the zk layer 2s. And I believe that from now on, since that most of the zk layer 2s also launched the mainnet and a lot of new layer 3s on top of these zk layer 2s will emerge, will be the option for some certain builders because the finality is a lot faster than the optimistic rollups. But still, relatively speaking, the zk rollups are less user-friendly and developer-friendly. I would say a lot less
100%.
user-friendly than the OP layer 2s. So there's a website called Layer 2 Bit. Even it's called Layer 2 Bit. They also have a section regarding the development of this layer 3 space. In that section, you will see that there's already more than 10 different layer 3s on that page. But there's actually a lot more layer 3 projects that are actually building today. And some of them have made some announcements, have got some attention from market. I think there's a lot more under the water, under the radar. Just like you said, I think layer 3s serves better the purpose for some applications that face consumers. Because I think today a lot of builders are building general purpose chains for good reasons. One very important reason is that general purpose chains has a higher market value or has a higher valuation, and so it's more
larger surface area.
It's a bigger story,
area, right?
Yes, it's a bigger story. And application-specific chains also has become a reality, and a lot of builders already enter in the space. And application-specific chains, I think they will be more popular and will become the trend, or has become the trend, in my own understanding. Because a lot of these general purpose chains are competing for the developer communities, right? So we have limited number of developers. We cannot afford to have unlimited number of general purpose chains because it does not make sense. And a lot of builders will switch their attention and their efforts to build real applications. So these general purpose chains will probably adopt the approach to build micro chains, which is similar to somewhere in between application-specific chain, which is layer 3, and general purpose chain. So some of these layer 2s will probably also be application-specific. For example, recently we have seen that some of the layer 2s launched with a specific area of focus. For example, RWA-focused layer 2. RWA-focused layer 2 just wanted to raise more than 10 million funds. It's called Plume. So it's the first RWA layer 2. And social layer 2 by Cyber. CyberConnect also pivoted from being a social application to a social layer, which is a social application-focused general purpose layer 2. That their environment or their chain will be specialized for the social applications. And there will be probably some gaming layer 2. At the same time, I believe there are also some other builder teams building social focused layer 3, Degen, like a meme-focused layer 3, RWA-focused layer 3, why not? Financial application like order book, gaming, fully on-chain gaming with the layer 3. Why not? It could also come with layer 2. Being a layer 3 or layer 2, I think the major difference is the destination of the settlement. So you settle on Ethereum, we become a layer 2. And if you settle on one of the Ethereum layer 2, which you consider to be mature, production ready, and secure, then you could be a layer 3, right? Does not make much difference, to be honest, if you did not much composability. Being a layer 2 is a little bit more compatibility with other applications. So because if you settle on one layer 2, you are a little bit one step further away from other layer 2s. But it's a little bit of abstract here.
Of course.
I guess the trend is clear, is that we need more builders building actual applications that people actually use. So the application layer matters.
Less general, in my opinion. I think we're in the same yacht here, Vince. Maybe it's a tin boat, who knows? But less general purpose apps, dApps, and blockchains, and more application specific. Like we need more end user, like you said, I wrote this down, destination of settlement. We need more very specific, efficient end user cases. Because again, like people don't care. You know what I mean? When we talk about some of the best apps that you and I use every single day, like G Suite, for example. I absolutely hate Outlook. I love G Suite, but I don't even know what kind of tech G Suite is built on. I just know that it's absolutely incredible and allows my team and I to speak with each other and have a unified platform that's, in my opinion, is about as good as it gets. Twitter, we use Twitter every single day as well. We have to. Telegram, like these are all really good user applications, and that's what we need more of in the space. So I completely agree with you in that regard. Quick break here, my friend. We got to give a huge shout out to Prime XBT, and when we get back, we are going to keep buzzing on everything zkLink related, and we're going to go back and jump into zk proofs, zk tech, as well, as this is something that I get often asked about, and I myself don't do a good enough job of explaining. But until then, huge shout out to Prime XBT, longtime friends of CryptoNews.com and longtime sponsors of the Crypto News podcast. We love Prime XBT as they offer a robust trading system for both beginners and professional traders. It doesn't matter if you're a rookie or a veteran. You can easily design and customize your layouts and widgets to best fit your trading style. Prime XBT is also running an exclusive promo for listeners of the Crypto News podcast. Use the promo code CryptoNews50, that is CryptoNews50, all one word, to receive 50% of your deposit credited to your trading account. Again, that is CryptoNews50, all one word, to receive 50% of your deposit credited to your trading account. Vince, before we take a deep dive into zkLink, I want to go back to just zk tech, zk rollups, zk proofs as a whole, and try to give some real world examples here. One of the examples that I give, and my apologies to whatever guest this was. I mean, I believe you're episode 345. We had a lot of guests on the show. The first time I heard about zk was got to be, I don't know, first couple dozen episodes. And I was like, what the hell is this shit? This makes no sense. And someone gave a really good example. And they said, Matt, do you party? And I like to get after it from time to time. I'm not a big club guy, but I like to go to the bars, tie one on with a couple buddies and have some fun. Every time you go to the bar, I'm 29 years old. When I'm relatively clean shaven like this, maybe, I'll get ID'd. When I have the beard, I usually don't get ID'd. But nonetheless, if you're going to a younger bar, the bouncer's still going to ask for your ID. When I give my ID, this lad now knows a shitload of personal information about me. And using zk
No one likes that, right?
Exactly. And using zk tech, it could be something as simple as an app on my phone that is, I guess it would have to be government mandated in this regard, but it could be an app on my phone where he just scans my QR code or scans whatever. And all that says is it's a binary proof that says, is he or is he not above the age of 19? The drinking age in Canada is 19, in the States it's 21. That's all it is. It's a yes or no question. It's binary. Is he 19 or is he not 19? All of my other data does not get shown. And again, I'm a dude, it's different. But if you're a girl and maybe the bouncer's, a sicko, a perv, whatever the case may be, I don't even like thinking about that, but it's different. If I was a girl, I wouldn't want a male bouncer knowing all my details. You know what I mean? So it's this is one application that I give. I'd love if you could perhaps give another one or build on that point, just to sort of give the listeners a real world application of what zk tech can do and how powerful it is.
Yeah, that's a very good example. I can think of another example is that you should just telling people that you know something without revealing the full picture. I think this already your ID this example is already similar, right? So for example, if you ask me a question, do I know about your age? And then I gave you a statement that reveals that I actually know without telling exactly how old are you. Then, for example, I could tell that and so just make this statement through an indirect message. And you immediately know this is verified because this kind of like cryptographic, this kind of stuff, for example, so you ask me another question, do I know your favorite color? Then I tell you another, I make another statement for example, I tell you that it's something that it is the same color with something you eat that it did before, then you would reckon that, okay, it is true, it's your favorite color. So you see that this is a statement carries a message that can be verified by you, by the receiver.
Gotcha.
Which is like a decoding process with this statement. So there's a process of like encrypt the message and send it to you, send this statement to you, and then you decrypt that message with the verification process that you decoded yourself. Right, our brain functions and decoded the message, and okay, this is the color, the same color that I really my favorite color, and it corresponds to something that I have. Yeah, that's kind of like a zk technology. And with blockchain technology, this is more specific because the statements that we make on chain is mostly the data. A statement meaning like it could be a hash that carries the root, the state of the states of a bunch of accounts. It could be compressed to one small hash value that contains the states.
That has all the important info that I need and want to share to others without actually sharing. It gives them the yes or no answers without giving them everything.
Yeah, mostly in blockchain, most important information is the states of your account that contains your balances, your balances of your accounts and the assets you have. And this information is submitted on chain and it will be verified by a verified key, which is stored in the smart contract and could be verified to be true. Do you know that these states or transition of states are true? So and this whole process is encrypted and protected by mathematical commit. So there's in zk we have these kind of terms that is commitment. There could be like polynomial, could be KZG. This is specific technology that actually it's just math. A set of math equations behind. Now you encrypt this message.
This is where I get lost. This is way above my pay grade. I get like the sort of high level, but when we get down to the nitty gritty, I'm just like, man, this ain't for me. I have this weird vision here, Vince, where in a couple of years when AI becomes, I mean, it's already extremely powerful. What am I saying? But when it becomes stupidly powerful, I mean, 2 days ago, I had to book a flight and I'm like, why do I still have to put in my passport? Why do I still have to do these things in order to book a flight when I would love some type of world, and I don't think this would be possible without zk tech. Well, it would just be giving way too much info. But I would love a world where my credit card and my passport are connected to a hash on the blockchain. Maybe it's zkLink, maybe it's something else, regardless, that also has some type of AI booked in. And I go on my own personal agent, right? Whether it's OpenAI or someone else, I go on my own little personal agent and I go, hey, I need a flight from, you're in Malaysia right now. I need a flight from Toronto to Malaysia. This is the highest I'm willing to spend. I need a seat in business class. I need it within these time frames. And here's my passport. Here's my credit card. Find it for me, pencil it in. I give, you know what I mean? That's what I'm excited for. Like, and I feel like that's where zk tech can really, really move the needle, because, without zk tech, like, you probably don't want to give something that powerful like a passport. Because I mean, heck, passport's probably the most powerful piece of ID on the planet. Probably not the best example on my end, but like, this is what I sort of envision in the future. I could be way off here, but applications like that, where zk tech, along with blockchain tech, along with artificial intelligence, those sort of three things, I feel like will just open up a crazy amount of really powerful applications that will make our lives infinitely more efficient.
That's very interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting topic, because some projects are already doing pioneering work in combining zk with machine learning, which leads to artificial intelligence, right? So to have so for the data that you feed to the machine, to the model, that it got to be, sometimes it has to be verified. and some information has to be encrypted, right? It cannot
Yep.
be
Bingo.
revealed directly to the model. Otherwise, it
Yep.
could be dangerous, right?
Yep. Yep.
So the zk machine learning is already becoming I think it is a major trend in the space of zk. It's a powerful use case of
Yeah.
zk.
We need a new name though. You know what I mean? Like zk rollups, zk proofs. Come on. We need something like, I don't know. I know zero knowledge even sounds better than zk, but maybe zero knowledge is too, I don't know. That's a problem for someone else to figure out, but we definitely need a new name. Speaking of zk, let's jump into zkLink here. Heck, I think you came on about a year ago, give or take, and you guys have done so much since then. Again, just moving and grooving. Obviously, just zkLink Nova. You guys went from 0 to 1 billion with the Aggregation Parade. I'd love for you to get into that and tell us what you guys are working on right now. Obviously, the zk Nova launch. We have some rumors about a token, maybe not. One token. Tell us what you can, Vince. And if there's any breaking news you could give us on the Crypto News Pod, we always love that.
Just the one small thing that I want to mention before we dive deep into the technology itself. We have been in this space for quite a long time. We started in the year of 2021, so it's already more than 3 years. I think it's almost 3 years and a half that we have been building zkLink, this protocol. And you're also right about the zkLink Nova. We started not a very long time ago. We started on zkLink Nova, this new platform, which is the layer 3 aggregating layer 2s together, about 6 to 7 months ago. And we launched the mainnet of zkLink Nova in March this year. It's about 3 months ago. And since then, we have grown the ecosystem quite a bit. So as you mentioned, so the total value locked on zkLink Nova chain is almost $1 billion US. And there's more than 800,000 of unique wallets that have used the mainnet, and over 11 million of transactions made on this chain. And this zkLink Nova chain is based on zkSnarks by MATLabs, zkSync, and also our in-house technology called zkLink Nexus, which is the multi-chain states synchronization technology based on zk Rollups. I think there's already more than 50 different applications live on zkLink Nova chain, and there's another 50 to 100 applications building right now, deploying on the chain, coming very, very soon. And the purpose of launching this new platform, as I just explained in the beginning of this podcast, that we aim to unify the liquidities and combine the liquidities fragmented across different Ethereum layer 2s, including Ethereum layer 1 itself. So consolidate and provide a unified access to different layer 2s we consider to be very important for certain applications that wants to have higher capital efficiency and want to have more trading opportunities that want and assets these applications want to provide to their users. For example, unified or aggregated lending market could be a very interesting use case. Think about it. You could lend and borrow different native assets from different layer 2 ecosystems using your portfolios across different chains. You could be a holder of zkSync, zkS, zk token, and Snark token at the same time. You could also be OP token holder at the same time, right? Why not? If you're bullish in the layer 2s in general, I don't think it will just be holding one layer 2 token, right? Most people will have multiple. And then you on zkLink Nova, you would have a lending market where you could use and lend your different layer 2 tokens to people, and for different purpose. You could also borrow that. And at the same time, on this chain, you could have aggregated AMM protocol where you can trade these different tokens, and you could have one perpetual DEX that offers you this leverage like 10, 20, 50, whatever, this leverage for you to use your different tokens as collaterals to trade new tokens, interesting things, to buy meme tokens. Why not? So it means aggregated liquidity, aggregated assets with higher capital efficiency, higher capital utilization rate, and with small friction as much as possible in terms of user experience as we aggregate the chains together, aggregates the assets and the liquidities together for the builders, and the builders offer that enhanced user experience and capital efficiency to their end users, to the normies. So in a sense, it abstracts away the complexities of different tech stacks of the different layer 2s. OP stack zkStack, Polygon CDK, Arbitrum Orbit. They have different technology, different tech stack offered to their own respective developer communities. And the zkSync abstracted the difference away for these different tech stacks and offer EVM compatible just one chain for many chains. You could trade the tokens from these different chains on one of the applications built on top of zkLink Nova. It means less friction, less fragmentation, and less complexity for the builders as well as for the users.
That's huge. Last question here, my friend, and then we'll wrap up. Any news? Any news you can give us? Anything's coming out?
Yeah, we have announced the wallet checker for our Nova drop, which is the zkLink Nova airdrop, round 1, about 2 weeks ago, on the 31st of May. And the token is still not live yet. I think it is going to be live pretty soon. And we're working very hard right now to roll things up and figuring out the exact date and venues and how we want to launch this. And this will be very important for us to have a successful launch to continue the growth of the ecosystem. It is the most important instruments that we have to sustain the momentum and the development and continue to incentivize our builders, our users to stay with us, to help us grow together, and at the same time to have very important instrument to decentralize the network, to govern the good development of the community and the network, the protocol itself. So we hope to have that as soon as possible. And I have reasons to believe that it is really soon. Yeah.
I love it. Vince, what an episode. Always appreciate you coming on, my friend. And can't wait to have you on for round 3. Before we let you go, can you please let our listeners know where they can find you personally and, of course, zkLink online and on socials?
Would love to, yes. You can find me on Twitter. So my Twitter handle is zkvincereal. And you can also easily find me through our project's official Twitter account, which is zkLink_official. And we have about 550,000 followers at the moment, but we definitely want to have you as well. And also you can find us on Discord. Our Discord is zkLink. And also we have a official Telegram group chat, which is the community chat. This is zkLink work. Yeah, we have a lot of discussions ongoing in our Discord and the Telegram community, not only related to the token itself, but also related to the development of the ecosystem. And we have a lot more key partnerships that we want to announce in the coming weeks and months. We're working with the best projects in the space to build out the ecosystem. I think people love the idea of having the aggregation layer of liquidities and assets to facilitate the trading, facilitate the usage of different crypto assets. The reality is that we already have so many chains, layer 2s. It is kind of like still hard for users to really jump from one ecosystem to another, to change one wallet to another. You probably will forget some of your tokens somewhere when you have 20, 30, 40 different wallets. You definitely want to have like 1, 2, maybe not more than 5 wallets to manage all your token portfolios, right? And then you need, why not having a unified and interoperable aggregated layer to help you facilitate that, to better use your assets and your portfolios, to better manage your portfolios with better yields opportunities. I think it is very interesting for a lot of these builders. That is why we are able to work with some of the best projects in the space. Like, we are working with we'll have layer 0 very soon. We'll work with the best oracles, the infrastructures, for example, and also the best DeFi products. We're talking to some of the blue chips. I think they're very interested. It's just a matter of time to build out and deliver. And people will realize that, I hope that people will realize sooner than later that this is something that they really like. The products, they can offer something that they don't have not seen before.
I love it. Vince, appreciate you coming on, man. Can't wait for the next one.
Thank you very much, Matt.
Folks, what an episode with Vince Yang, coming in hot for round 2. He was bringing the noise. We discussed everything L3 related, ZK proofs, aggregated rollup narratives. Why do we need L3s? What do they do for ETH? And of course, we took a deep dive into everything ZK related and zkLink as well. Huge shout out to Vince and the team for making this happen. If you guys enjoyed this one, I hope you did. Please do subscribe. It would mean the world to my amazing team and I. Speaking of the team, love you guys. Thank you so much for everything. Eustace, you are the man as always. And back to the listeners. Love you guys. Keep on growing those bags and keep on staying healthy, wealthy, and happy. It's summertime. Let's touch some grass. Let's throw some weights around, get a couple steps in, and let's print while we're on the computer as well. Love you guys. Talk soon. Ciao.